So we have a topic that we actually covered just a few weeks ago.
A little bit,
But it is something that a lot of people are talking about around the clinic a couple weeks ago beginning, and then probably for the next couple of weeks. And it's basically how to stay healthy, or think healthy, I guess, while traveling, whether that's a vacation or a conference. But the point is, whenever you're kind of away from your home environment, where understandably everything, is basically, you've worked on it to create a healthy, as healthy of a place as you can. And I get this question definitely a lot in clinic, just because 'tis the season for travel when a lot of people are going south and so forth. And it's just so commonly asked that we decided to bring the topic back and just kind of walk through at least what we do, just in case that helps anybody. And then if anybody wants to share, some of their little secrets, we can do that too. So this is the beginning topic, and then if we want to talk about something else, we can.
yeah.
So
Perfect.
I'm going to ask you first, because you actually, I feel like, have this perfected even more than I do.
So I guess a couple things that I do. Number one is I don't travel anywhere without my water filter. And so I have
Omega?
I think an Omega, or an Aquasana. I don't remember. And then I have a little tiny pliers, and they both travel with me. And yes, TSA goes through my bag every time. And I'm sure it's to look and see why I'm traveling with a weapon of...
It looks like a bomb.
Yes, but I don't care. I always check it, so it gets checked. However, I take it everywhere, so it goes everywhere we go. My husband is never impressed, but he gets over it, and I ask, would you like to put it on, or do you want me to? If everything's in my name and he's not with me, I completely do it all. If it's in his name, he thinks I'm gonna break something, so he takes over, which is great.
That's awesome.
And so I always pack that, and then that is also works with being able to drink the water. So I shower in it, of course, but then I also can drink the water, and so I fill up containers for coffee water, tea water, and then what I actually leave the place with wherever I am at. For water, I also have a what are those
Grail?
called? I have a
Is it a
grail,
grail?
but what's the other one with the straw?
Oh, Smart Straw, or Life
Straw.
Life Straw?
Yes, and I just got a new one of those for my next adventure. And so those work great. However, that isn't going to work like to put in your coffee pot because you're just drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I paid, I don't know, $40-50 for it. Mm-hmm. And one water at the airport is $20. So I'm actually good with it because I can go to the bubbler, which is disgusting. However, it works,
You can
and
go
I
to the
never
bubbler,
get
fill
sick,
it up,
which
and
is so weird.
Have pure water, yeah.
They don't always take the smell out, so sometimes when you're in really chlorinated water, you can still smell that. However, I don't ever get sick, so it must work. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely how I travel for water. Then I always travel somewhere, it's on me with my eye resonance. Mm-hmm. And I will go through, like if I'm going through the airport, I keep this on my physical body, and the TSA workers, because I always do the pat down, not the x-ray machine, which is also uncomfortable, annoying, and my husband is bothered by it, but I don't care at all. And I'm always super nice to him, like overly nice, and they're always very nice to me.
Yep.
And then you just keep this on, and sometimes they have you like spin it around yourself or whatever. And then the other thing for stuff like that is I actually take my BioArc with everywhere we go also. I also check that though. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they wonder what the bullseye is that I carry around that is around 6 inches, but whatever.
Yeah.
So those are the things I do for that concept.
Yeah, harmonizing your environment, and then the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I always pack organique bars, because the airport I'm definitely not eating anything at. I haven't found an airport that I could eat anything at ever in my life. However, when you're driving somewhere, of course that would be different. So I always pack organique bars and like trail mix or something like that, and that would go in my check bag, or of course if we're driving, this is obvious. But then if you're checking something, then I always put it in a big black garbage bag. All of my supplements go in a black garbage bag. All of my food goes in a black garbage bag. And actually, I've learned like my crystal, anything that's going to hold a ton of energy, earrings, things like that. Why is that?
Because of the radiation. You don't want your supplements radiated if you can help it. You don't want your body radiated either. Ideally, you can just go through the airport in a black plastic bag.
Right.
But that's why we take supplements to detox the radiation, but we definitely don't want our supplements and, if you can help it, food and crystals and all of that radiated, because you're right, the crystals will hold that energy then.
Yeah, and I actually get rashes from it, which is super weird, but whatever. So I guess that would be for sure like how I pack and plan. And of course the supplements, you can talk about like what supplements to bring for preparing. And then like the mental preparation, I guess we'll go into that after. So what else do you pack, or what else would you recommend?
Say all of that I agree with. That's how I do it also. And then I think for everybody to realize that any 2 ounce supplement, so right now we're obviously talking to people who are part of our program and get it, you know,
Right.
But like let's say an energetics bottle is 2 fluid ounces, and you can have that in your carry-on bag, of course put in a plastic Ziploc bag or something. And I take always all of my drainage, like hepatica, solidago, lapis, scolopendrium. Those are all within that size allotment. And then maybe ACX will just be randomly in my bag. I don't take PathoGuard because I will never eat anything that isn't pure, but I do recommend people take something with them, just a good standard catch-all, something like PathoGuard or Attack. Granted, in any given situation, it may or may not cancel out the block, but you don't know that. It hasn't happened yet, so it would be the best overall shotgun approach would be something like ACX and PathoGuard. And then if I'm going somewhere where there's pesticide exposure, there's an updated recommendation for this, but from a supplement perspective, let's say I want to take Ormus C. Obviously the jug is too big. You simply pour it into a smaller energetics bottle with a dropper, and then you take it with you that way. So, and then, I do the same thing. I'll probably usually fly with organic bars, goji berries, like you said, a trail mix, whatever. When I have my kids with me, I just try to make sure that there are enough. That would be a time where they probably get some extra special treats that maybe I don't usually have around, like what is our brand of gummies?
Oh yeah, those are great.
The gummies, which I don't usually have those around the house very much, but when flying I find it's really helpful with the young kids to have something that they don't usually get and to have variety. And it is a special time, and that's what they, what we tell them is like, hey, this is a really special treat because we're on a special trip and this is what vacation is supposed to be about. So they're still getting that experience emotionally where they feel like they get to have something special. And then, I don't remember who told me this. It might have been my mother-in-law, I don't quite remember. But somebody once said, whenever you fly with kids, have a whole bunch of new books they've never seen before as well.
Oh, cool.
So that it's not the same old, but that they're really captivated because it's something brand new, and then they kind of forget what's going on for a while, or a brand new game, or a brand new puzzle, or so, whatever it is, they haven't seen it before.
Oh, cool.
I think it was my mother-in-law who recommended that, and so that had worked really well also. So that would be that, and then obviously if you're one of our really, really weird tribe, we typically do pre-test any location. Like let's say, for instance, my sister is in Florida this weekend, is it the weekend?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
Friday.
it's Friday. And so I'm not actually sure if she was there for conference, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is wherever she was going, she sent me, the links to 5 or 6 different hotels to pre-test so that she could easily avoid, a sewer gas issue or a major mold issue or a mites issue or something like that, which I'm sure at the hotels that she was going to be at, I don't think they would have a mite issue. But the point is that down in Florida, you never know because they actually have a lot of environmental trouble. So she had me pre-test, and the one hotel that tested pure, that's the one that she chose. So it is just kind of routine around here that around people's vacation time, they send in links to the different VRBOs or wherever in their area, and then they choose one that they know isn't going to make them ill. And again, it might sound radical, but once you get it and once you get to the point of really living healthy and clean, if you go into a VRBO for a week that has a major mold problem, you're definitely going to feel really crappy the whole time, and so is your family probably. You are anything from headaches to stuffiness and congestion to coughing or full blown getting sick. And so why not? If you can prevent that, why not? So it's an extra couple minutes out of your life, and then you can kind of know at least that you're going into a primarily pure environment. And so then with the pesticide exposure, which is all over the place, rampant everywhere, especially tourism areas, it's insecticides, it's pesticides. They're praying. They should be praying. They're spraying. They're spraying for spiders. In places like Florida, spiders and ants and roaches and all of those things. So it's on one hand, it's kind of like, well, thank you, but on the other hand,
my head is not thanking you.
Correct. The head is not thanking you because there is a migraine in the waiting. So that's where, drainage or something like Ormsey can be helpful. But nowadays, now that we have the technology at our fingertips to work with the Hedron Guardian, that is my #1 recommendation. Unbelievable technology that completely eradicates and purifies some of the most toxic air I've ever seen within a matter of minutes. It is unbelievable technology. I've literally just been blown away by it. And the beautiful thing about that type of technology is that you don't have to actually worry and care anymore. It's more like, well, wherever I go, I'm having a great time and I've got my Guardian with me, and it's like eradicating all the crazy nasty and just being able to transport really pure healthy air no matter where you go. That's unbelievable to me. And in all the years I've been doing NRT, literally that is like heaven to me. It's like this heavenly state that I never thought would be possible, and it actually is now. So that would be the Black Guardian from Hedron. Otherwise, the Green Guardian handles pesticides absolutely beautifully as well, and mold and all of that. So that would be my updated highest recommendation. So if I do have my Guardian with me, then I don't have to take a harmonizer and all of that along with it. Kind of is a one-stop shop. But something like that. The scary thing is they are very expensive. I mean, the value, they could be 5 or 6 times more expensive if you ask me. But it's very expensive, and so you are sort of putting that in the hands of TSA agents when you're checking it in your bag. But again, they're just going to think it's some really pretty crystal that sits on your table, and that's probably all they're going to think about it. So, yeah. So that, I guess. So
do you have a question?
We haven't covered food yet, but somebody has a question. I heard something.
Go ahead, Jill.
Yeah. Quick question on that. When you are flying with your Hedron Guardian, so I have the green one, are you packing it in the original packaging? Are you packaging it in black, black bag?
Yeah, I would do, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, just to keep it protected. And is there still, do you still see that 2 to 3 or however many day wait period before it starts to clean out the air?
So the green one, Chelsea, yes. I hate to have to say this to you of all people. The green one, yes. The black one, no. It's about 5 minutes.
Oh, dang it, they came out with the black one after I bought the
Yeah, but we're
All
very,
of us.
very, very blessed and fortunate
Yes.
because that's partially the result of me freaking out and telling them that they absolutely have to create something for sewer gas and going through all of the testing and everything. And so we're only completely blessed and fortunate that they were able to make it happen. But unfortunately, the actual technology implanted inside of it had to be different than the green one. So it just is what it is. All I can say is, for our people, of course, we fix something like sewer gas. But when it comes to the travel consideration, obviously everybody would prefer to have the really fast acting fix, So
Right.
I don't know if there's anybody in your family who gets it and would buy the green one from you just for pesticides. I'm not sure, but it's just like any other technology, like a cell phone, where it's like, oh, I just got the last version
Right.
and now the new version is so cool and it's better and whatever. And it's like, well, that's how it works. So it was a later invention of theirs. That's
Yeah.
the deal.
Okay, so then let's say, what if can you have the black and green one at the same time, or would you want to get them both out of the house? Like, do Andy and I just buy the black one and suck it up? And...
What I would do would be something like, for instance, the green one. If Andy were to take that to work for the pesticide issue or something like that, they will not, they're not contraindicated to be together, but truly you do not need both. So it wouldn't harm anything to have both. Like, I have a blue one and a black one. The blue one was gifted to me. The black one I have just for all the unbelievable reasons, but especially structuring our water, which the blue one doesn't do. But there's no contraindication to having both. But the green and the black are so similar that you really don't win. If anything, I would try to have a sister or somebody like that buy the green one off of you if you can. Or gift it to somebody, which would be a really beautiful gift for somebody.
I'll see if Alyssa and Hunter want to buy this. I don't know, they might have it though, so.
Yeah, I don't know that. I'm not sure either. I don't recall. I don't remember. Anyway, good questions. Very good questions. Any other questions before we continue into the food element? Nope. Well, I'll defer to you now on food.
Okay, so food. So here is my take and what I've experienced over the last 15 years that we've been doing this. This is my personal preference, so no judgment, it doesn't matter if this works for you. I would not eat an egg that I did not raise to save my life. Never.
Yes.
Because I've gotten very sick on eggs, and when they hold parasites, they like control you like nothing else. So no way. And my husband's favorite meal is breakfast.
Aww.
And so I will never go, and I always feel bad when we're on vacation. I'll go, and I just watch him eat. But I always think, oh my God, how do you not die? Now that he's this cleaned up, he might have a rude awakening coming for him. But, okay, that's one. Second thing is, I rarely ever will eat meat. Chicken, I definitely don't eat pork anyways, but beef, especially if I'm in a different country where you're like, I did not see any cows while I was flying over, and there's a picture of a cow on the menu. No, not for me, not touching it. And then the other part though is lettuce is pretty sketchy. Lettuce can be just as damaging or sickly or whatever. So anyways, okay, so what I start with is the sourcing. So is the sourcing pure? Are they trying to do a good job at the restaurant? Mm-hmm. I shouldn't say any bar, but you know what I mean, like bars, fast things, whatever. Those places, that's just not gonna work. So look at what they're, like coffee shops that do all organic.
Yes.
Okay, so is their salad probably gonna be 100% pure? No, but are they doing the best they could, and so it's probably not injected with a bunch of stuff? Yes.
Uh-huh.
So it's a better option. I do grocery shop everywhere we go. So if we're going out of town, no matter where we're going, I either make all the food or grocery shop. And I will grocery shop and get the brands that I know, and I will make huge salads. I will put them in Ziploc baggies with a plastic fork. And everybody we've ever vacationed with knows that I'm having a salad.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else is welcome to the salad. They're welcome to eat pizza at the bar. I have no problem with it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean I don't do the research to find a really cool place to eat, because I do want to enjoy that while I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
The difference is depending on where you're going.
Uh-huh.
So I would recommend choosing places to go, like
where there are going to be healthy
yeah,
options.
like
exactly.
Naples was beautiful. There
Yeah.
were so many options there, and I get so excited to get like a fresh juice. There's nothing better
Yes.
than fresh green juice to me,
Yes.
but I don't want to make it.
Right.
So going somewhere, I am like elated. Brett gets his eggs somewhere, and I get a fresh juice, and we're doing great.
Yes. Yep.
So those are choices that you could do ahead of time for where you're going, and
Mhm.
just make it. But a lot of places do actually have stuff like that.
Well,
Just
so
not
here is that's actually completely true. The sad reality is we seem up here in northern Wisconsin to be one of the few areas that it is very difficult to find pure food and pure food at healthy restaurants. However, that is definitely not the case in a lot of other places. That was very eye-opening to me probably 6, 7, 8 years ago when I really got into sourcing. And then I started going to other places, to conferences and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is pure, that's pure, this is pure, that's pure. And sometimes it's an issue where local, so let's say that you're local to us in northern Wisconsin right now. Nothing's growing.
Right.
We're in a deep freeze. And even the chickens that are laying eggs this time of year, they don't get outside, they don't have healthy sunlight, they're not free ranging. So when you go to a place like, let's say, Arizona, or you go to California or to Florida, they're still local to there in a lot of different options just because of how the seasons work and the growing seasons and so forth. So that's one thought. And then the other thought is anytime that you are adding a whole bunch of shipment time, various trucks, various people handling all the different food, this time of year, the reason we see an increase in a lot of foodborne pathogens, one of the reasons, is likely more than anything just because it's not local and it's not seasonal, and everything is getting shipped and sent and going on all of these, passing through all of these different hands and everything. So those are some things to think about. But for instance, when I go on vacation, if there is a Sprouts market, I am like jumping for joy because Sprouts has so many pure things. It's just fantastic, and it would be our equivalent of, like, let's say a Whole Foods. But whereas Whole Foods has a whole bunch of stuff that isn't pure, Sprouts has almost all of their brand is pure, and it's like, yay!
Right.
And you don't even have to think about it. But then what's cool about that is a lot of the restaurants in the area, local organic restaurants, a lot of their sourcing is the same. So you can find a ton of things on the menus that are pure. So then it's a piece of cake, because all you have to do is pay attention to, like what you might usually eat. So like, for instance, I'm never going to go out to eat and order like pasta primavera. So I'm just not, because obviously I don't eat like loads of pasta. I'm going to still go to probably fish or salad
Salmon
or whatever, but at least all those options are pure. So when a person doesn't have the ability to choose all of that, let's say you're going with your husband to some conference, it's in North Dakota, and you're like, now what? I would have, it doesn't have to be organic bars, obviously, but any pure nutrition bar, or if you are able to take something like a blender with you and you can do a protein shake, great. That's where some healthy fruit options like Granny Smith apples or kiwi or something, goji berries, seeds and nuts, all of that you can take with you. But then the default for me, this is a little bit different than what you're saying. for me, the default would be, I'm never going to suddenly have a big hamburger with a bun. I'm never going to have pizza, you know, unless it's like a cauliflower pizza and it's at a place that's what they're trying to do is fresh foods. But I am typically going to go towards fresh, and that won't change. And then what might be different is if I'm out to eat at some restaurant and I go for a salad or salmon or fish or chicken or whatever, I'm probably going to be popping some supplements ahead of time and then after. And if it is a purity issue versus pathogen issue, so obviously if I'm doing it, I can just test it and I'll just test what's in it, and
Turns
I
out-
will never ever eat something that has parasites in it. It's just not worth it.
Right.
Like why on earth would you want to get really ill from eating a food? But let's say it has bacteria, has fungus, it has metals, all that you can just detox really simply. You can just detox it. So it's like pop a couple pills before, pop a couple pills after, and you're good. So that would be the opposite of radical. That's the most realistic, the most flexible, but in a perfect world, you don't come back and you have the classic, oh, we just went on vacation, so now I came back sick for a week.
Right.
That's what you're trying to avoid, and that's why we're educating on it. Because you can still go on vacation and get sick, no problem. A ton of people do that all the time. But if you are trying to be a little bit wiser about it, this is kind of why we're talking about what we do to fend off illness when we go on trips. So yeah, that's what I would say.
So, like choosing local, like fish, depending on where you are. Something fresh, like when we were in Alaska, there was no restaurants, and if they were sketchy.
But it was all pure.
Right. It was like, I'm not eating there, and then it was like, oh yeah, right, that came off the boat like within the last 15 minutes. Okay, yes, I will.
Yes,
So
exactly.
there's places like that where you can pay attention to like what is local and what is fresh, and
Yes, yep.
So
Yeah, I think, and then this is something I always say, and everybody's usually surprised by it, but I will always say, if you're going out to eat at a restaurant and you have the option for pure beer or wine versus water, don't
City
drink
water.
the water.
Yeah.
Do not drink the water. If they have bottled water, great. No problem. But it's like if your option is to drink whatever comes out of their tap versus a pure beer or wine, absolutely take the alcohol, because again, you're going to get so much less hit of a bad thing that will block your nervous system. However, again, it's a phenomenon, and actually up here it's getting so much better. I am thrilled. Even in Rhinelander now, how many coffee shops have filtered water? It's like finally people are getting it. But if you're in, a regular sized city or something, you can always ask if the water is filtered, because that actually is something that a lot of conscious restaurants care deeply about. And then no problem to drink their water or have their coffee or whatever.
okay. Yeah, can we go back to the supplements that you would recommend?
Well, we
Like,
have,
For shotgun approach. No, this isn't holding you to, because
No.
everybody's different, but what's
in
a shotgun?
It's whatever's in our organic travel kit. And
Okay.
good question, because I can't remember what I originally put in it. But I would say all drainage, like Lapa, Hepatica, Solidago, Scolopendrium. I would say ACX. And then if you're flying and and the concern is radiation, it would be marine phytoplankton. If you're concerned about pathogens ingesting with food, it would be, I already said ACX, so I would say PathoGuard or Attack. And then if it is, okay, I am going to eat some foods that I know are not ideal for my body, then I would say enzymes. Whatever that looks like for whoever, what they have. AL90 is a good shotgun. Mila, NZ, things like that.
Okay.
I think that's probably, and then the Ormacy if in pesticides and if you don't have a guardian.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's nothing that will go wrong with taking a handful of ACX. Like, I have no idea what to do, so I'm just going to take a bunch of ACX.
You're never going to go wrong with a handful of ACX. That's true.
Right.
And then the reason why we go into this much detail, for some people, like I have a new client, she just started with me, her job, she goes to Puerto Rico once a month, and she spends a week. That's what she has to do for her lifestyle, and then she has a few homes up here, but she's traveling really consistently all the time. So not only does she want to be able to do the program and actually get healthy during having this job,
Right.
but she also just doesn't want to get sick. And sometimes, you know, in the past, maybe that's been kind of the norm. So by doing a couple of these tweaks, once it's habit, it's habit. And like for us, it's totally habit.
Right.
That's just the way we think. But if you're brand new to a program, it can sound a little bit overwhelming, but over time it's like, gosh, this really pays off, especially if you do travel a lot, then it's absolutely worth it.
Right.
So,
But for me, it's like I don't travel a lot. However, when I do travel, I want to feel fantastic.
correct.
Not like crap, ever.
Yes.
I want to be just doing
You don't want to
great.
have a migraine for
Right.
a couple days when you
Right.
should be laying on the beach and enjoying it. Yeah,
Right.
I totally agree with that. Okay, so any other questions? Anybody have any comments that they want to make? I'm trying to see. I don't think there's anybody.
Oh, Chelsea.
Oh, I'm just here. I leave on Wednesday, but we're like, I normally fly, and we're driving this time. So man, oh man,
Oh.
you guys should see the food that I have packed.
Yes.
Good for
We're-
you.
We're doing the Ark. We're doing the Creation Museum. Then we head down to
Oh, cool.
then we head down to the Keys. But I already know we're staying in the same house that we stayed in last year, and I know. Last year we wrapped up all of the pipes for the sewer gas, but I know that they've been doing a ton of renovations, and like Andy's mom and dad rent the place, and of course he like wraps the pipes in the middle of the night, and his mom came out and she was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" So I don't know if she took it off or what, but that's how we travel.
Oh my God, I totally
That's
forgot.
so much
As part of the emergency organique kit, it needs to be,
Duct tape?
no, the plastic wrap.
Oh yeah, plastic wrap, press and seal.
For sure. Thank you,
Seal,
thank
yep.
you.
That's
Uh-huh.
the easiest
Awesome.
fix.
Glad press and seal always got order at my house.
You know you're part of Organique when press and seal is part of the emergency kit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh my
gosh,
gosh,
we'll have
so
a
fun.
great time, Chelsea.
Oh yeah, are you staying for a week or more? I wish.
Well, we were supposed to stay for a month, but my mom and dad's condo in Florida got hit by the hurricane,
Oh.
and they really wanted to come. And I'm like, oh man, that's like Mold City. I'm gonna pass on that. That's
Oh.
a straight up pass. So you guys have everything done, and then maybe next year. I don't know. I'll have to have at some point you look at it before I like willingly go and subject my family to 4 weeks in a.
Ooh, yeah.
That could have. I mean, they were without power for since October 2. They just got it 2 weeks ago. So I'm
Oh
like,
my
oh
gosh.
Wow.
get out of there. So,
Aw.
That is so sad. So Chelsea, which city is that in or by?
they're on Fort Myers Beach.
Oh,
like-
they're
they
on
definitely-
Fort Myers. Ugh, got it. Okay. Oh, that's so sad.
Mhm.
So yeah, so our trip will be cut short. But I did not know this about the Black Guardian, and I'm like, dang it! I probably would have grabbed that ahead of time because I only have the green one. I'm gonna bring it, but how many days is it before it like resonates?
It's literally 5 minutes.
No, the green one.
No, the green.
Oh, you know what? So we say 2 to 3. I bet by 2 it's basically clear, and it's working on purifying the whole time.
Okay.
But to really get it saturated, I would say 2 is probably fair, even though we say 3 for, I can't remember how many places I checked at 2-day mark versus a 3-day mark, but definitely by 3 days it's totally pure.
Okay. Well, my car will be pure.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, exactly. So, okay,
Yeah.
any other questions, comments about anything else, and or even just going out to eat? I think we basically covered it with vacation, but sometimes there's a little different questions. I don't know.
I have a quick comment.
Good.
It would seem to me, not that I'm going to do this, but and I've never done it, but it would seem like cruises are out.
Ugh. Can you imagine? Gross.
Because, am I correct? Like,
You know-
you would have no choice for as long as you're on as long as you're floating, you know, you'd have to be eating whatever they have lavish displays of food and choices and everything, and the fun of it is just having access to all that stuff and the drinks.
I would probably overdose on supplements. If it were me, I would be taking a Guardian with me. I would be overdosing on supplements and having a blast and praying.
Right.
To survive.
Pray over all
Pray
of
to
your
survive.
food.
Pray over all of your food.
But I wonder though, I bet there are some nice, like, I've done like Carnival cruise, but I bet there's some of the nicer ones like Alaskan and Norwegian Cruise Line and stuff like that. I bet they do really good food.
Well, and nowadays, I'm sure they have some options, organic options on some of them.
Organic and gluten-free, and
Yeah.
I bet they probably do that.
Yeah, but sketchy, potentially, yeah, still, definitely.
Can you imagine all the sewer gas?
No.
Just like a floating boat of sewer gas. I mean, you can bring a Guardian.
A ship of sewer gas. But a ton of people get sick on cruises.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a mainstay. Everybody knows that. And you have to wonder why, all the reasons why. But yeah, I don't know. You know, I can honestly say, which is kind of weird, but over the years, I bet I've had fewer than 10 people go on cruises, which is weird. Just meaning, like, as families, that's not really a type of travel that I, for some reason, see very much of. I don't know why. So, yeah, good question.
Anyone else have any questions or comments or want to talk about anything different right now for the next couple minutes or in a different conversation?
Oh,
Like for a
yeah. Are
different
there
time?
any, well, and there aren't that many people on to ask this question, but if there are any topics that people would actually want to listen to or hear about, we're happy to do that. Otherwise, like I said, we might question our day and or time depending on going forward. We'll see.
I actually love the day and the time. I mean, no one's here, so then we can just talk to you. So.
Perfect. I told Ashley last week, Chelsea, I was like, well, I don't know if my topic was a bang. We started with like 6 people, we ended up with 2.
Hey, but Jen, I first of all, I tell all my Appleton girls, well, you run, the problem is that I know all the girls in Appleton all homeschool, and they are actually at music. We have a big music program on Fridays, and the little kids starts at 9:30. So I don't have any little kids, but everybody else has little kids. So that's where those girls all are. Then I have to take notes and report back to them.
I love it.
What's going on, but I'm not going to say boo diddly about the Black Guardian. That's just going to be our secret.
Trust me, I'm not seeing anything either. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That, but but enough random off the topic. My sister Alyssa sent me an article today because, of course, like my kids have whatever. I'm blaming my kids getting sick on Andy. There was 130 kids at a school that all end up like projectile vomiting in the middle of the day, and Alyssa's like, I bet Ashley could figure that out right away. She's like, they should have taken cold lunch. But I think that it's crazy how much food they can mess with, and that we have to kind of just navigate through. And now I'm thinking, man, I need a greenhouse because I don't trust anyone with food right now.
I know. Honest to God, I wish all of us could do that and would do that, because I think it would be so beautiful if we could all take some of the power back into our own hands, because you're right, we are like sitting, now that sounds super conspiracy theory and I get that, but the reality is we are all sitting ducks in a lot of ways. Food, but also even when it comes to electricity and everything, I mean, you know, it's just, we are a very dependent society now, and I think there's good and bad with that. So, meaning good, meaning the convenience factor, but yeah, my husband's been talking about wanting really much to start this summer to getting way more into the whole gardening thing, because of this exact reason. And of course, I grew up, you know, my parents did a gigantic garden and raised a lot of our own food and everything back then. But you know, we have since gotten away from that. My generation, of course, everybody goes to work, which my dad worked, but my mom was able to stay home, and so it's just a different lifestyle. But then the reality is you're very dependent, and so I'm right there with you. Greenhouse. We actually have, okay, so we have some patients who have been with me since the very, very beginning when I worked at Advanced Health. And they have, over the years, they've raised all of their own beef and chickens and some other things. And recently they just kind of went all in. I mean, they're a phenomenal family. I'm blown away by those boys and their work ethic and just, anyways, so they have for years, all of their pets are on NRT programs, and they supplement really the very best of the best. Well, over the past, 2 years, they finally just said, we're all in. They actually kind of sold their business, and they are going completely all in on organic farming for all of us.
Yes,
so,
they're
and
gonna
including vegetables too
Yeah.
in the future. They're going to have their farmers market in our parking lot in the summer. And it's like we need more of that, where they're literally having everything tested, all the different types, you know, the food, the hay, all of that. They give them supplements, and the price point is the exact same as what you're going to get anywhere with organic meats and produce. And it's like, now that is beautiful. I'm so grateful that they're willing to do that, because the reality is I'm not going to be doing that because I do this. So we need to have more of this small town community, like local pulling together, in my opinion. Creating, what is it, Mom? What is it called? Parallel culture? Is that the term?
I'm drawing a blank.
But
yeah, something like that.
It's like parallel culture or something. That's like my husband's big thing too.
Permaculture?
Permaculture, maybe
Oh, yeah.
that's it. Okay. Where basically you're
I'm not really sure what it is, but I've heard the term.
where you have experts in all these, you know, you've got the farmer over here, you have the chiropractor over there, you have the nutritionist here, you have the electrician, but where you're all very much on the same page and similar mindset. And you kind of then have that power to pull together where you can just utilize the resources within your little community. And I don't know, I'm a sucker for that, because at my heart, if I could be a prepper, I totally would. But yet then I actually wouldn't, as you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I am so drawn to all of that. Chelsea will not be part of our subcommunity.
Chelsea and Ashley, you
Chelsea
would
and
be
Ashley
great
could
together.
not be further. Chelsea is gonna be like, oh my gosh, there's a tick, and I'm gonna be like, this is amazing. We're living off the land, Chelsea.
No ticks. You know, I really want to be one of those people that like goes out and takes hikes in nature, and then I think, oh gosh, I know what's out there. I know what can happen. Nope. I think I'm just gonna be just fine in Appleton, where we spray all of our stuff. I'm getting a Black Guardian. I'm gonna be just fine.
You're gonna watch Your River Runs Through It movie, and that's your version of the mountains. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.